Hey guys, back with the Circle. Here's a video that's been a long time in the coming. A very important channel update. Basically, we're going to be taking a step back from all the videos focusing on Games Workshop's ineptitude. I feel that over the last 3 years, we've done a lot to expose all the shady things that they've done. There's no point retreading the water. I've put all the information out there now. I've done my part. I've informed people. I can't force people to make decisions. I can only give them the information, and it's up to them what they choose to do with it. And flogging the dead horse over and over again does nothing for me. That's not what I want. That's not what helps me. I don't get anything out of that, despite what some people may think. It is not my favourite thing. My favourite thing in the world would be for everything to be just peachy in the hobby, to be well looked after, given constant new kits for the right factions, done in the right way. And unfortunately, that's not what's happened. Now, that's a real shame because it means that I can't focus on the things I want to focus on, which is my hobby. This isn't meant to be a chore. This shouldn't be something where I come home at night, turn on my computer, and I'm bombarded by emails from people saying, "Oh, look at this dick thing they've done. Look at this. They said they'd charge this much for this model, but it's this much instead." And yeah, I know. It's horrible, and they're horrible. Also, important thing on that note, I need to issue a retraction of sorts, because on the last video, I mentioned how no other company treats its customers like Games Workshop does. And I said, Warlord Games, Hawk War Games, all these other ones I listed off. What I failed to do, though, was I then said after that statement, and probably before as well, that Games Workshop's the worst company on earth. Now, I meant it in relation to other miniature companies, but it doesn't come across that way in the video. So, my apology right now to Games Workshop in front of everyone. You are not the worst company on earth. There are pharmaceutical companies, waste management companies, things like that do terrible things to people. You're not in that category. But out of miniature companies, yeah, you probably are in that category. So it's a bit of a backhanded apology, I guess. Doesn't mean it's not true though, and I've tried to be truthful wherever possible on this channel. I don't just go out there and make claims and say, Games Workshop's bad, they do this, they do that. I always try and put information on screen. Here's what this costs, this is what this costs, here's where I got the pricing for this. I try and give all the information I can so that you are well informed. So, that's done, that's dusted. I'm now going to focus on the things I want to do on this channel. I want to look more at Horus Heresy lists. I don't want to touch 40k again though. Maybe if 9th edition rolls around and it's actually a good game, yeah, okay. I'll touch it then. I don't want to touch 40k, I don't want to touch Age of Sigmar. Frankly, they don't do anything for me. Why talk about them? For the people who are talking about, it's not such a bad thing, get someone in the UK to freight forward for you, that kind of thing. No, that's not a solution to the problem. You see, Games Workshop still gets the money. The problem is not how much it costs. It's the principle of the matter and the fact that 10-year-old kid who wants to get into Warhammer, they don't have the ability to freight forward models from the UK. Me, I'm an adult man with his own house, car, fiance, dog, whatever. I can afford the hobby if I want to. I make the choices in life, earn the right amount of money, I can afford to do what I like. It's the kids who don't. They're the ones I'm actually concerned about the most. So that's why when people say you can freight forward from the UK, I just dismiss it because it's not an option for them. And for me, it doesn't really affect. I'm not personally outraged about what Games Workshop does. I don't feel like it's a direct attack on me. It's not. It's an indirect attack on my community because they're the ones who suffer. I don't know about other communities around the world, but in my own one, I look and I see how many new kids are coming into the hobby, and I look at how many old hands there are, and I see a lot of guys, mid to late 30s, and I see one or two teenagers, and I'm like, that's not a sustainable thing for me, and that's the thing I worry about with all these pricing changes and things like that. So, that's Games Workshop aside. I want to also focus on Game of Thrones, from Cool Mini or Not, the Song of Ice and Fire game. Now, not a perfect game system, but a great game system. Some people will complain about, I don't like how the cards work in the game. It feels like too much of a gotcha type thing where, you know, it's like they're playing a trap card in some other game system, where you do everything strategically right, or tactically right, I should say, but then someone pulls a strategic card on you and just messes your day up. You don't have to play with that system, but that's a great way of representing the uncertainty of battle and things like that. So that's part of why it appeals to me. And we'll go into it more later down the line. The previous Game of Thrones stuff I've done on this channel was all back before the rules got finalised. So a lot of that is actually out of date. Things like bonding units. So I've got to revisit a lot of that. I've almost painted the whole Kickstarter too now, which is something like 300 models, something ridiculous like that I've done. And yeah, that has been quite a slog in amongst all the other things I'm trying to do with life. I also want to focus more on the Horus Heresy battles. So talking about, like, you know, this is what happened in this battle, this is what happened, that kind of thing. I don't want to be focusing on what Forge World or Games Workshop is or isn't doing right, unless I'm specifically doing a review on a product that they've put out. And again, this is a long time coming. This isn't me throwing in the reins and going, oh, I had enough, I can't deal with it anymore. It's the logical next step. This channel's not built on the idea of endlessly hating on Games Workshop, much as a lot of people like to come into our comments and say so. It's built on the idea of informing you, the viewer, about what's going on in the hobby. Specifically, it did involve Games Workshop games, but also involves the games that Kat and I like to play. So, we're going to talk more about those. Anyway, that's all there really is to it. I put up a little message on our Patreon and on YouTube. I'm banned on Facebook at the moment because I got Zuckerberg. Happens all the time when you post up dank memes, let's face it. So, Kat's sort of handling Facebook at the moment. You won't hear anything from me till at least Australia's Sunday morning, I don't think. Because I've been well and truly zucked in the butt. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, don't expect too many more What Broke the Fans. Don't expect too many more Games Workshop pricing model is fucked. You now have that information. You know what the problem is. We, the fans, know what the problems are. The apologists are going to do what they want to do regardless. Anyway, back with the Outer Circle. If you want to hang around, watch other videos down the line, that's great. If you felt it was just a Games Workshop hate channel and you don't think the new approach will be for you, that's fine too. But thank you to everyone who has given us the ability to sort of grow as a channel and engage with you, and we aim to please in the future. See you all next time.